Hey guys, how goes? Martin here. Now that our big powder coat oven is built, we need to be able to sandblast a bunch of stuff. This is my do-it-yourself sandblast setup. The media container is a former oxygen cylinder, really good solid aluminum intended for high pressure. It's perhaps bigger and heavier than others, but makes for a large capacity and it suits my particular needs well. The thick top cap is drilled and tapped, not all the way through though, to bolt a 5S cam sprocket, which makes opening and closing easy. The setup will utilize air pressure at around 115 psi maximum. Next, I used a strong stainless tube about 3/8 of an inch outside diameter and somewhere between 10 to 16 inches long that can be tapped on either end to fit 1/8 inch national pipe thread brass fittings. At about the quarter way or a third of the way down this length of tube, it gets notched. I notched this little example piece of tubing just to demonstrate because the notch actually faces away from us. And at least 3/8 of an inch long section of material is removed to about half the diameter of the tube, just like this example. I drilled a hole through the neck of my oxygen bottle near the base of the neck and pressed the stainless tube through. The tighter, the better. You want the notch opening in the tube to line up with the center of the bottle neck, and then spin the tube to face the notch down towards the bottom of the bottle, away from our vantage point. The neck shape of the bottle helps funnel media towards the notch opening in the tube and siphon it. Find a comfortable air trigger that fits 1/8 inch NPT and thread it in with Teflon tape. And then you can experiment on the tip sizes at the muzzle end. I like 1/8 inch NPT barbed fittings. The only thing with brass is it wears quickly. There might be a better solution for that as far as longevity. I also discovered that a bit of hose, 1.5 inch length of silicone, works well. Over the barbed end of the brass fittings, it extends it a bit and helps focus the media a bit better. I sealed the seams around where the tube passes through with some tough marine sealant. It dries hard like a rubber tire and makes sure that there's nothing else leaking through there. The system works best to start the air flowing, then turn the bottle upside down during the use, then turn the bottle right side up again prior to releasing the air trigger. This helps prevent wasting of the media. A brief note about media and safety. Wear the proper respirators and protective gear. Some do-it-yourselfers may be tempted to try real sand as media, and it needs to be mentioned that sand is probably the most dangerous media to use. Outlawed entirely in many places because of the fine dust it produces that can cause silicosis. It gets all over your clothes, can stay in the air for hours, it can strip years off your life. Research it please, just a heads up. The first part I am testing this on is my custom catch can. It's not the prettiest piece, but functions perfectly and only the top of it is visible in the engine bay. So it should be a safe part to try as a first powder coating adventure. There is an interactive balance between the size of your tubing, the size of your notch opening in the tube, your nozzle tip inside diameter, your air pressure, your system CFM, and the media type. This will take a bit of experimenting. Every system will have a sweet spot where it produces the best results. For example, if you have a smaller compressor with a lower CFM output, you may want smaller diameter nozzle tips because it will flow less air. The larger the CFM capability of your system, the more air volume and media volume you will be able to utilize and sustain. I'll walk you guys through my testing evolution. This first nozzle is a 1/8 inch inner diameter barbed fitting. So as you can see, it isn't moving a lot of media, isn't covering a lot of area, and so progress was a bit slow. But my smaller compressor was able to hang in there with a few rests. It did work well, but I knew we could improve. The next nozzle was a 5/32 inch, and then a 3/16 inch. I added my second compressor and bumped up my CFM to around 6, and I eventually ended up with about 8 to 9 CFM total and an additional large surge tank. Subsequently, the next parts tackled, like these rusting painted Allen socket bolts and lock nuts, went much faster. Little tools like this mounting tray will also serve well for the actual powder coating. Now with this next item, an air-to-water intercooler, you can see the speed advantage along with a higher volume of media. I'm also getting a bit of a flutter in the air pattern. I can almost describe it as a hammer, which is very effective. It must be a surge of some type which is occurring when there is a repetitive air pattern due to the ratio of airflow versus media flow. I haven't researched it yet, but regardless, when it occurs, it uses more media and the system is the fastest. It disappears as the system pressure drops below about 80 psi, but I can induce it also by releasing the trigger a bit, which reduces the airflow and creates the same rhythmical balance. The system also works best above 90 psi. Here is another improvised powder coating tool, a rotating rack which allows me to spin it while maintaining the ground contact through the dry bearing, which should provide the ability to evenly coat these lug nuts or other items from the same vantage point, helping with consistent coverage. Yes, that's a 5S automatic starter plate. Good job for anyone who spotted it. The only moisture removal I currently have is this copper condenser, which you may remember from my crib video, but I think I will add an additional DIY bead-based moisture remover soon. Powder coating gear has all arrived. Powder is here. We are taking a crack at powder coating. That is next. Like, subscribe, stay tuned. See you later. Check out these new recent videos wherever they are. One is about Gandalf, the world's first 5S GTE Mark I MR2. The other is about the building of this whole garage shop. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now.